So 2.5 years ago, I quit drinking, and that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. The small thing that triggered me to be sober for going to 3 years now, and that has inspired me to aim for being sober for the rest of my life. But first, let's make some tea. Now that I'm sitting down, we can get serious. So I loved the pre-drinking rituals, okay? Getting ready with the girls, like the drunk calling, like I was a fan. But for me, I just woke up one day and I was like, this thing is not benefiting me in any way. It's not helping me with my skin. It's not helping me with my memory. It's not helping me with my health. But yeah, it's helping me have a good time. But like at what cost? It was enough for me to say, I think it's time to wrap it up. Because one thing that I realized is that when I was in social settings, like there's just so much overthinking, especially when there are a lot of people around. And I felt this when I was outside and sober, that damn, alcohol does turn down the volume when it comes to that overthinking. And it does that so well that the mental clutter quietens down so that you can genuinely be in the present moment. And the harsh truth about being sober is that you have to confront that chatter head on. No assist, no help. Which means that while everything is busy, it's loud, the concert is going, it's going down also in here. Your thoughts are also having a concert. And that's why I keep saying the first 8 months of my sobriety was so hard. That mental clutter, it was not something that I had to address before, because especially in South A lot of people don't choose sobriety, or they choose sobriety for a limited amount of time and then they go back to alcohol. So they don't live with it long enough to understand what's going on in here. And unless you go through sobriety long enough, you won't understand the mental gymnastics that you have to jump through before everything resets back to normal. So because that concert was going on inside while the concert is going on outside, I was looking for vices, because when I told people that, oh yeah, I'm sober and I'm sober for 6 months, the first question they asked me, oh, are you going to go back to alcohol? And I'm like, no, I want to be sober for life. The second question that they asked me is, okay, so then what is your vice? I didn't think I had to find a vice. But because I was having that mental concert, I thought that I had to have a vice. So I tried vaping, I tried coke, I tried caffeine, but none of them stuck. Sometimes I would just get drinks that looked like alcoholic drinks so that people would just leave me alone. Like I was always in search of a prop. And one day, especially with the caffeinated drinks, I just looked at them and I'm like, I don't want to drink this. I don't need to be doing this. I'm not enjoying this. And I just tossed that drink to the side and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to move on in this journey without a vice and try to see how that looks like. Because why do I have to be holding something at all? Why do I feel like if I stop drinking alcohol, it needs to be replaced with something else? Why do I feel like I have to navigate adulthood with a crutch? And these are questions that were very uncomfortable to sit with, which made me realize that, oh wow, this journey of sobriety is actually deeper than what I thought it was. And I think I'm on the right journey and I'm going to keep pushing. If I had to tell you how many times I had to sit in awkward silences, especially because of my sobriety, and having to sit in that discomfort of not having to reach for a drink because I didn't have one. Having to practice doing that was very hard, but I approached it like working out, and it felt like I was doing a rep for my brain so that it can deal with this discomfort. Because one thing that I realized, especially after doing that a lot of times, is that the muscle that I was building was not just helping me for public situations, but it was leaking into every other area of my life. When I'm in a meeting or having a conversation with somebody and there's awkward silence, I was not backing away from the silence and I was using silence as a power move. I realized that I was slowly training my tolerance for discomfort, and by training it in the arena of sobriety, I was training myself to tolerate discomfort in other areas of my life as well. And that's when it clicked, probably 7 months in, that is the whole game, that is what sobriety is all about. I had to move, my phone is dying. As I was saying, the most painful part about sobriety is the isolation, because especially in the beginning, it is so overwhelming mentally and emotionally. And it also makes you realize how many things you were covering up by using alcohol and other vices to cope this thing of being alive, and having to address those things head on. Sometimes you just cannot do it with people there as an audience, because this is not a group project, right? You kind of chose to have the side quest by yourself, because it made me realize how much alcohol plays in being the social glue of society, and it holds a lot of stuff together, a lot of stuff that is centered around friendships and meeting new people and like even romantic situations. And when you pull out of that kind of lifestyle, you realize very quickly what was real and what was not when it comes to your relationships. You learn which friendships were the real friendships and which friendships were kind of cosmetic. And personally, you just realize how some plans just don't make sense anymore, and how like there were certain versions of me that only existed after I drank. I didn't want to be that version of myself anymore. It's not because that version of me did anything crazy. I'm not the dancing on tables type of girl. I love to dance, okay? I'm a dancer. Follow me on TikTok. Like, I like to groove, okay? I got rhythm, right? But also, like, there's some decisions that I made when I drank that I am just not interested in entertaining that version of me anymore. And once I had completely detached from that version of my personality and I made the decision to let her go, I had to figure out who was actually standing in that gap. It's very easy to talk about the hangover. It's very easy to talk about, oh, what do I drink instead of the alcohol? But nobody speaks about that personality that you were when you were drinking. And once the drinking is gone, what do you replace or fill that gap with? It's some of the best emotional and mental work that I've ever done. So guys, if you like these kind of chats, please subscribe. We talk about deep here. And this is not a wellness channel. I actually don't know what category my channel falls under. It's just talking about real shit, man. We just talk about real stuff that runs beneath the surface, that influences our decision making. And yeah, if you're in that kind of thing, subscribe. So what have I learned 2 years, 5 months in? Well, first of all, my skin has never looked better. My energy levels are better. My confidence is better. My memory is better. I used to nap. I used to need naps during the day in order to cope. I don't need naps anymore. But also because I've been disciplined by sobriety, like my discipline has spilled over into other things like my diet and my sleep. So my overall lifestyle is definitely healthier. I've lost weight. I wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting to lose weight. And I could say that my emotional maturity and emotional intelligence has definitely grown for the better ever since I stopped drinking alcohol. Like, that surface level stuff. The real chat is that I'm actually in my life right now. I am living and experiencing my life raw. I am fully immersed, fully present in my life. I am not softening the edges of it. And that gives me a certain confidence that I didn't even think that I needed. And the nice thing about this is, like, when I'm this present, the good stuff hits way harder because you're like, I 100% did that. That was all me. I didn't need any kind of assistance, any kind of artificial assistance in order to achieve that. That was me. And what that has done for my confidence is something I was genuinely not expecting. And the bad stuff, it was tough. Those first 1 to 8 months, it was tough. Dealing with sadness, dealing with heartbreaks, dealing with disappointments, dealing with anger. But because I had to face those things in a very raw state, I had to create my own mental tools to figure out how to deal with an emotion instead of running away from it. Because when you have a vice, it is so easy to pick up the vice to soften up the edges of the uncomfortable emotion instead of addressing the emotion fully right there and then and just letting it pass. And you just soften this emotion just to make this experience a little bit more palatable, and then you address the emotion later. I think the biggest thing that I've learned with dealing with difficult emotions, it's like when the emotion hits, I experience it right there and there in its full glory, and I let it pass. And one of the things that I've learned is that when I do that, every emotion has a lesson embedded deep within it. And once you let that emotion pass, especially as quickly as possible, it will leave you with a lesson. It will leave you with an insight. It will leave you with relief. It will leave you with maturity. And once I realized that every single emotion is actually a friend here to assist me in the journey of life, experiencing life raw stopped becoming this scary and overwhelming thing to navigate through. And how I connect with people is much more real than how it used to be in the past, because nothing is masking the experience. But the quality of my life has improved because I can pick up on people's BS much quicker. And not because people have BS, but because of my BS. Because this journey of sobriety has forced me to deal with my BS, forced me to deal with things that maybe I was hanging on to for 10 years, and realizing that the things of the past can be levers that influence your decision making of today. And once you address where that trauma comes from, or that disappointment, sometimes trauma is too deep of a word, sometimes it's just like a disappointment that you haven't let go. And once you can let that go, it blooms a new personality, a stronger personality. It's a journey of self-discovery and healing. And once you heal all of that and you meet new people, I can tell when somebody hasn't dealt with their own BS, because I was a person once who had not dealt with their BS, and sobriety has helped me to deal with my BS and to confront my demons and to slay them. Period. And when I think of the version of myself who was like having fun, having drinks, having a good time, having shots, I have no beef with that version of myself. I love her. Memories were made. We had a good time. But when I think about the version of myself now, I want to explore her even more, because I feel like Enene 4.0, not even 2.0. It's just, I just feel so powerful, and I have not felt this power ever. And I can't believe sobriety is what gave it to me. Oh my God. I can't believe it. Like, the type of power that I thought having a shot could give me, I'm operating in that 24/7. And it is not messing up with my driving. It is not messing up with my articulation skills. It's not messing up with my concentration levels. But this version of myself only started budding 10 months in, 11 months in. It wasn't immediate. It wasn't immediate. Like I mentioned earlier, this is not a video to advocate for you to stop drinking if you are drinking. This is just a video that I'm hoping points out that we all have a buffer. And for some people it's drinking, for some people it's herbs, it's the greenery. A lot of people have vices. And for some people it's food, right? Something, some tool, something that helps you navigate the world instead of sitting in the discomfort of silence. And just figuring out what your buffer is and what it's helping you to navigate through. Like, if it's a crutch, what is it helping to stabilize? I'm not saying you should do anything about it, but I'm just saying it's really helpful to realize what it is that needs more stability within you, whether it's your thoughts, whether it's your emotions, whether it's your past. Just knowing that it's there, it's really helpful. Because what sobriety has taught me is that the thing that we reach for when a moment becomes uncomfortable, yes, you're reaching for it in that moment, but it also shows up in every other area of your life. It shows up in the difficult conversations that you refuse to have. It shows up in your eating habits. It shows up in your relationship with sleep. It shows up in how you handle uncertainty. It shows up in how present you are with the people that you love. And the honest truth is that the people who can sit in discomfort, they navigate differently in the world. And not because sobriety is like a magic formula. They're navigating differently in the world because being present is the ultimate superpower. And being present is not just like this meditation what that people do. No, it's a rep, it's a muscle that you build over and over and over and over again. And it doesn't have to be something that you run away from. Like, even though I had a lot of fun in my 20s, I was dampening my power, and I was dampening my power using crutches and vices and buying this belief that I have to have a crutch as an adult. You know, how can you not? Oh, babe, it's like when I tell people I don't eat red meat, oh my gosh. I swear, when I navigate this world, people think I'm an alien, but I feel so good. The amount of mental clarity, the amount of peace, the amount of like, you know, Goku, like, that's how I feel. That version of myself who had the courage to be consistent with YouTube, who had the courage to like do so many things, I would not have found her if it wasn't for sobriety. So this is like a thank you to sobriety for really tripling doubling, 10xing my confidence, for making me fall in love with myself, for giving me energy, for giving me a beautiful body because I wasn't expected to lose weight, but most importantly, for helping me find a version of myself that I love completely. I thought being sober was just like quitting alcohol, but wow. This has been one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. And I know it's not for everybody, but for anybody who's willing to find out, I would 100% recommend.